Namaskaram, ladies and gentlemen. This is CS Sudarshan and I hope you are killing it in your studies. So, accounts paper. 5 days are left for your examination. Stop everything that you're learning right now other than the accounts paper and focus only on accounts paper. You need this complete focus for the next 5 days to get an exemption in the accounts paper, because it's an exemption, the first paper, that's going to build your confidence. And that confidence is what's going to help you to clear your examination for the upcoming subjects. And when you're studying for the next 5 days, what I want you to do is that every single day, if you're studying for 13 hours or 12 hours a day, you have to allot that 11 hours you need to focus only on accounts and keep 1 hour at the end of the day for ironing what you have studied during the day. Please do that. Just keep like at least 30 minutes a day, and whenever you are going through a question which is a tough question for you, just mark all those questions and just write the question number in a separate piece of paper, and at the end of the day, just 30 minutes you have to go through all those questions again. Just iron and go. And tomorrow when you're studying the next chapter, at the end of tomorrow, and in that 30 days you have to go through the question, the tough questions that you've done in the previous day and this day also, all the tough questions, so that thereby you'll keep a track of all those tough questions. And for the next 5 days, if you do that completely, what happens is that those questions that is actually tougher for you will get ingrained to your head, and I want you guys to have that. So always just keep 30 minutes to 1 hour at the end of the day to iron all the tough questions, and this is very, very, very important. And some students commit this mistake. They'll only do one revision in the next 5 days. Please don't do that. You have to break the next 5 days like 4 plus 1. In the next 4 days, you have to complete one revision. And in the last 1 or 1.5 days, you have to revise the subject again and again. And on the day before examination, or the exam day morning, 1.5 days, you have to mark all those tough questions that is actually tougher for you. And on the exam day morning, you have to go through those questions again. Always keep this thing in your mind. You have to split the next 5 days like 4 plus 1 or 3.5 plus 1.5. You have to do 2 revisions in the next 5 days. Please keep this in mind. Don't trust yourself like doing one revision and going. Like sometimes something you have studied tomorrow and 5 days after you may forget that. So you have to do one more revision for that. 3.5 plus 1.5. Structure it like that. And whenever you're solving a problem, after you finish solving a problem, let me tell you one thing, or even if you're like not solving, you're just reading it and go. I want you guys to, the moment you finish a question, just close your eyes and just recall where to start this question. This is very important. Like some students, the problem is that the moment you get a question in your examination, you may have solved it 2 days before the examination, but still if you get the same question, what happens is that students may forget where to start the question or how to start the question. What is the first or second step? So you have to structure the answer for all the questions that you are learning. From tomorrow onwards, just keep this thing. That is very, very, very important. Whatever you are studying, if it's a bit bigger question, you have to structure the steps where just after finishing a question, just close your mind and think, okay, I got this question, where am I going to, which is the first step that I'm going to do, which is the second step. Just structure the answer in your mind, and this will definitely help you on the exam. The moment you get a question, it will be very easy for you to write the answer. Structuring the answers is very important. Just keep in your mind what is the first step to do, what is the second step to do, what is the third step. You have to have a flow for the answers, and you have to structure that in your mind. I don't want you to write or anything. Just structure that things in your mind. You don't have time to write in the next 5 days. Always keep this thing in mind. So the moment you get the accounts question paper, what I want you to do is, even though you know the first question, the compulsory question, the big question, even though you know how to complete that fully, but still please don't attempt that. First, you need to attempt the easy questions. The small questions will be there. You have to attempt those easy questions first. And once you finish those easy questions, then only you write the bigger question, and most possibly at the end, like in the last 1 hour, you have to attempt the bigger question. That's how it works. The problem is that if you go on with the first question first, what happens is you may know, but you may take more time. Sometimes it may, if you get stuck at somewhere, you understood you have done something wrong, you may have to cut it and write it again. Your confidence will completely go down. So always attempt the easy questions first, then focus on the bigger questions. That's the first thing that I have to say. Then, but the moment you write an answer, if you know your answer is perfect, your answer is correct, only if you know your answer is correct for 100% sure, then underline or write the final answer in a box. All the important answers. For example, if it's a balance sheet question, all the net profit, gross profit, and the balance sheet, the figures, you have to just important figures, whichever figures carries a step mark, you have to put a box for that figures, because the examiner, it will be easy for the examiner. They'll just look at the final answer, and if it's correct, they'll give the marks and go. Only for those questions if you're 100% sure you have done is correct. Otherwise, please don't do that, because the examiner may look at that and may think like if your answer is wrong, he may entirely cut the answer without even checking the steps. So that is a risk you have to take only for answers which you are 100% sure it's correct. That's the next thing. Then you don't need to draw any tables or anything for any questions in the accounts. Only the figure carries mark. But for certain questions, if your presentation, for a better presentation, if you have time for the first question, still it's not necessary. But still, sometimes if you write something overboard or a format is needed for your better being, then please do that. Otherwise, it's not needed. But always carry a 30 centimeter scale with you. If you want to do that, let's bigger scale. That's one more thing that I have to say. Then in all the accounts answers, you have to write all the working notes and all the notes that you write in paragraphs, all the notes, sentences you have to write for all those bigger questions. If I see a study material, if the questions in the question answers from whichever material you're studying, if that has a notes or a working note, you have to mention all those notes or a working note in the all the questions answers that you write. You have to do that, please, because that carries marks, 1 or 2 marks. And that's the reason why if you forget to write that, that's the reason why majority of the students loses marks. You have to write that. And that doesn't need any format or something. Just put like WN working note and just working note 1, just draw something like this with your hand and just write it. No need of particulars, anything, just the amount carries mark. The only thing is that working note needs a heading. So whatever is the heading for that working note, you have to write it. That's it. Always, that's one more thing that you have to remember. Then in the next 5 days, when you're doing revision for the accounts, I want you guys to keep a normal 1 or 2, 3, 4 A4 sheet paper with you, along with you, and all the mistakes that you're doing in the final revision. I've told you have to keep a mistake register. But in the final revision, whatever mistakes you are doing, this is a final revision that we are doing. So whatever mistakes you are doing in the next 5 revisions, or what are the stuff that you are committing a mistake, or you have chance of committing a mistake in the examination, you just write it in that mistake register, and you have to revise this mistake register on the day before examination or the exam day morning, because that helps you to not to commit those mistakes in examination. This is 100% must. You have to do this, and this along only with this thing you can increase like 5-6 marks easily, because you may tend to commit these mistakes in the examination. So that's one more thing you have to keep in mind. And this is the last 5 days that you have got for the examination. Now keep everything aside and focus only on accounts. Don't keep like 1 or 2 hours at the end of the day for revising law or anything. It's not needed. Or, like I would say, focus purely on accounts, because you want to get an exemption in that. That is very, very, very important, because only 5 days or 3, 4, 5 days are with you. So focus full. Your complete attention should be there to crack at least 60 marks for the accounts paper, because that's going to help you clear that one group. And the confidence if you have attempted the accounts paper in your best possible way, and you are strong that you would get an exemption, then your confidence will be so high for law and whatever the upcoming subjects will be. So I want you guys to definitely secure an exemption, that I want you guys to comment it down on the comment box that I will secure an exemption. 60 plus marks in accounts, you have to write it down in the comment box, and that's a guarantee that I want it from you guys. And the moment you get your result, I want you to come back and just say that I've said this like 5 days before the examination and I've cracked it. You just need to give it a tick. This is what I want you guys to do. Just comment it down, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, subscribe to the channel, because I'll be coming up with these kind of videos for next every days till your examination finish. So that is the guarantee from my side. So let me tell you one more thing. Whatever your mind is going through, you may be having a lot of mental conflicts going through, but just it's action mode. Like I told, it's action mode for the next 5 days. Focus only on action and get things done. Because you should not allow your mind to think. Your mind may be overthinking or something, or afraid of fear of failure or something may have. But the moment your mind goes out, just bring it back and say to your mind that now it's action mode. Thinking is after the examination, we'll think anything goes good or wrong. Now it's pure action mode. Get things damn done. That's it. So comment it down and see you tomorrow with another video. That's it.